Hello and welcome to round 2 of the SLC semifinals here live on the Lacrosse Network. I'm Chris Marshall, joined by Samir Chaudhry, and you're watching the Lacrosse Network. Pretty excited to be here, and this game is going to be a real dogfight if it goes the way I expect it to. The Grand Canyon Lopes facing off against the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. In the way I see it, is a must-win for the Lopes.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to quickly go into our pre-game comparison between both of these teams, and you see, surprisingly to me, coming from D2, Grand Canyon going undefeated in the conference this year, beating ASU, who we just saw taking down Chapman, but Grand Canyon 4-0 conference record and an 8-4 overall record, but the only time they've ever faced against the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, they took a loss, the score of 11-7. So Santa Barbara coming off a big win against Arizona in the first round, and that takes us right into our players to watch. We have to take a look at number 44 on attack for Santa Barbara, Johnny Morgan. Morgan had quite the game against Arizona, putting in 6 goals. And really an impressive showing from Johnny Morgan. So we have to talk about him. He's a local product out of Encinitas, California. Went to La Costa Canyon High School, played for Coach Dallas Hartley, current coach of Chapman. Junior at 5'10", 175, he's definitely a player to watch. He was injured for some time this season. And now, you know, on the other side of the ball, another attackman from Edmonton, Alberta. Again, one of the international players here in the MCLA, Carson Bartson. And Carson, you know, he was a great player in D2, but it seems like he's really turned it on since their move to D1. 5'10", 165-pound junior with 47 goals on the year, 27 assists, and more impressively, averaging 6.17 points per game.
Yeah, I mean, he really picked up where he left off. He's one of the few holdouts from when the Lopes made the move from NCAA Division II to MCLA D2 a season ago. But again, really, really ambitious schedule for the Lopes this season, and it's a real victory for them to have even gone 8-4. But pretty impressive play out of them. But like I said, they're the 4th team right now in the rankings for the SLC. Looking forward to Greenville, and yeah, you have to think that unless they win this game, they'll be on the outside looking in. And there's a big face-off win for Santa Barbara. That one going to Mainthau. Ball up here, C.J. Jacobs, another one of those players to watch for the Gauchos. He's a real talented player.
The Gauchos' only conference loss coming to Chapman, and we had that game live on the Lacrosse Network as well, but Jacobs netting 3 in that game. He really turned it on then.
Yeah, and that's something you're going to expect to see out of these this Santa Barbara team. Is they're very methodical. They don't take any opportunities that aren't ones that they planned. And what a shot! And there's Morgan right off the bat, and that's why he's the player to watch. Low to high rip, far side. Whoa.
Johnny Morgan, I mean, that's exactly why we profiled him. Ever since he's come back, he's really turned it on. He had an ankle injury. He was in a boot for a while, didn't get to play against Colorado, and you can see that the junior attackman wants to be back out on the field.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys. He's super shifty, and that he scores a lot of his goals in the unsettled situations, and he scores a lot of garbage goals too. So I mean, that's not always what Morgan is known for, scoring those settled possession goals. But if he gets it going like that for the rest of this game, it might be a long night for the Lopes.
And on the other side of the ball here, we're going to wait to see what Bartson can do.
And here's Barnes. Moves to Farrell. And quite a few international players, if you will, on this squad. A few Canadian players coming over with Barton, who's and you can see some of the style there. Not wanting to move it out of his right hand. There's Cody Wagner. It's one of those kind of plays that's synonymous with box lacrosse, which they play a lot in Canada. So and you've seen those players have a lot of success. You look at guys like Mark Matthews, at all levels having success. So it's definitely something that they've thought that American players could use some help in is playing the box game. I know that if it was available more in the U.S., and then almost a fantastic catch there by Bowles, coming across, that it would help a lot of the youth players especially. And Max Berry with the ball, and I'm probably Max Berry's biggest fan. I'm not going to lie. He's a kid from Sacramento, and a kid that's it's a real hustle player. There's not a lot of glory playing short stick defense, and it's a position that some might say that they're trying to phase out with these new rules. And he gets in there and makes a difference, and that's exciting for me to see.
Absolutely, and as UCSB controls this ball, we got a question here from Thomas Manning on YouTube wondering which team we favor.
And there's Walsh going in. Let's see if they give him the goal, and they do. And that was a very close call as he kind of ran through the crease, but he buried it before he got in there. And just like that, it's 2-0 Santa Barbara. And that's a great question kind of coming along with that. I thought this one was going to be, like a 6-5 just dogfight. But Santa Barbara is out and running early in this game. And for a team in Grand Canyon that has so much to lose here, it's they need to turn this around. I mean, I thought Santa Barbara might win, but I didn't think it was going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. Right,
and Santa Barbara, though, I think the reason I said I would favor Santa Barbara is just based on their experience in Division I.
Right.
And they've been here before. Coach Mike Allen has not only been here before, but he's been to the national tournament before. He knows what it takes to win in the postseason.
Won two national championships back-to-back in the early 2000s. And there's Barton getting played tight, and what a look inside, and that's a great look. You see Barton move the ball inside, and Barton has just a boatload of points this season, doing it on both sides, averaging six points a game. And there's the shot and the goal, and what a fantastic finish coming from Drew Zedek. And that's great team play. You see them draw the slide and come back across, and then he's in tight, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about that if you're Conrad Carlson. And if you have any help on some of the pronunciation, you want to make sure I'm doing those right, or any kind of comments, questions about the teams, the game, the players, or anything you want to know about us personally, again, Chris Marshall here with Samir Chaudhry. Feel free to comment on the feed below the picture, and or send me a tweet at CMarshallTLN. Again, that's at CMarshallTLN. Love to hear from you, where you're watching from, and who you guys think is going to win. And a lot of scoring already, way more than we saw in our last game. And there's another shot coming off the end from McWilliams. But 3 goals in as many minutes for these two teams, which is the total that we saw in the first quarter from Chapman and ASU. So this one might turn into a real shootout, and that's what I'm hoping for. I know that's the case.
This is the first time we're seeing Grand Canyon all year, but we've heard a lot about them. We've heard a lot about Carson Bartson, so we'll have to see how their offense operates here, especially under the pressure that you see it right there. UC Santa Barbara is pressuring. I mean, Santa Barbara is historically a defensive powerhouse, and they really are putting the pressure on these attackmen.
Well, and that's something that's especially important for the success that Santa Barbara has had so far this season, because they lost a lot of their offensive power, at least individual offensive players who were out there making a difference. And you can see that's a great pickoff, and there you go. Farrell coming in, has the opportunity, takes the shot and scores the goal, and takes advantage of the opportunity when he gets it. And there's Farrell, scores the goal, his first of the game, to tie it up. And that's a fantastic play. And you see that, and that's just something that you don't see a Mike Allen coach team do very often. It's a mental mistake. It's an unforced error, and Grand Canyon made him pay for it.
Yeah, and you can see Coach Allen there on the sideline not very happy about that error they made. I mean, they cannot give up any easy goals against this team. And you were just talking about some of the players that Santa Barbara graduated last year, some of their 2 biggest middies on that team, Taylor Gilbert and Aaron Hemian, graduated from the program, but huge impact players in the MCLA.
Absolutely, and they're guys that can create their own shot. I mean, I think in the midfield, that's something that they've really been missing this season. They've obviously been able to score goals, and I mean, they've got a good record at 12-5, and have played some really close games, including a 1-goal game to Chapman rather in our last game, and also an overtime loss at Colorado State.
Right.
So I mean, they've been in the games, even the ones that they've lost, and one of those coming at the first game of the season to Stanford. So they've been in these games, but scoring has been a little bit of a problem, especially creating their own shots through the midfield.
Yeah, and when C.J. Jacobs is on, it's a different team.
Of course.
I mean, the last time Santa Barbara played Grand Canyon, Jacobs had 3 goals and an assist in their 11-7 win. So you can see how big of a role he plays in their wins.
Yeah, and a lot of young guys out there for Grand Canyon. It's a new MCLA program, like we said. They made the move from NCAA Division II to MCLA Division II and then to Division I this year, and have had a lot of success. Won the South division of the SLC this season in their first season, and went to an 8-4 record with a really challenging schedule. So it's exciting to see teams coming into the MCLA and making an impact right away. Especially with such young guys. I mean, they'll be a team to beat. I know Barton's got another year, and a bunch of sophomores on the field right now for the Lopes. And here's freshman who scored the first goal, looking for Barton. Barton coming inside, finds the look, and there's the goal. And just like that, 3 in a row for the Lopes, and they're on top. 5 goals already in 6 minutes of play, and it's much different than I thought this game was going to be going just 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, absolutely. We started out this game talking about the Gauchos as they took an early lead, but Grand Canyon, we've heard about them all year, and now we're seeing it. So,
well, and that's the thing with Barton. I mean, he's got coming into tonight, he had 74 points on the season, 47 goals and 27 assists. So he's a balanced player. He's not just one of those guys who's out there taking big rips and scoring goals. He's making the players around him better, and that's the real difference for their team, because he draws the quick double and then he dumps it inside, and he's the reason why they scored that goal. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the finish, but that's just fantastic play out of the junior captain.
Santa Barbara able to clear it over the midline. There's Ryan Walsh, and we actually have a message to the Walsh family here. Let's see. The Walsh family would like to say hello to Daniel Walsh, who is watching in Fort Worth at TCU. He's Ryan Walsh's brother. It's always great to be able to have the family watching from all around the nation. So thanks for tuning in, and shout out to you, Daniel Walsh. And
here's Walsh going at his defender, taking ops to move it down to Bowles. Bowles looking for a pretty ambitious pass into Samuel. And that one's going to go out of bounds, get the quick whistle, and Barton's going to bring the ball in for the Lopes. 8:18 to go in the first quarter. And a lot of offensive firepower. I mean, it's just a lot of kind of composure, and I think Barton still has it. Yeah, he does. But trying to go for the hidden ball trick there. Takes the shot and load high at Pipe City for Farrell, and not shy when it comes to pulling the trigger are any of the players for the Lopes.
And Jack Coyne commenting in on YouTube here, saying that this is not UCSB's pace of play, and I see that. I mean, Grand Canyon's going at him.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why this matchup is a tough matchup for UCSB, and why Chapman was a much better matchup for them, because Chapman plays the same brand of ball, and you just look at the sidelines, and by no stretch of the imagination is Grand Canyon one of the bigger teams, but they have more guys on the sideline than Santa Barbara, and that lack of depth makes playing at this pace very difficult. And there's Barton with the double, loses the handle, ball still down. I mean, at that point, you might want to take a kick at the ball. Let's see, I think Carlson has it, and there you go, back to Santa Barbara. 7:20 to go in the quarter, and Grand Canyon holding on to a 1-goal lead after scoring 3 quick ones after going down 2-0.
Oh, what a pass to C.J. Jacobs.
Looking for Bowles and able to get a stick on it to disrupt the pass. Looked like... and then Wilkerson moving the ball up, looking pretty sharp defensively, are the Lopes. What a look inside, and that's a heads-up play by Jacobs. Jacobs making the move, can't quite find Buca, and this is not what Santa Barbara wants to see happening. A bunch of unsettled ball going into the transition, because there's one thing that traditionally you think of when you think of some of the Canadian players who come and play, and it's their just stone-cold killers on the fast break in unsettled situations, because they can get their hands free and shoot And there's a great
nice
takeaway.
Yeah, great defense there from Santa Barbara. Farrell, just a freshman, but seems to be very confident carrying the ball. But right there, Santa Barbara just able to take it away from him.
And there's another great look to Jacobs. And Jacobs fortunate to get that ball off. Nice trail check. Lorimore, another one of those shifty attackmen for the Gauchos, checks into the game. Jacobs, 5:45 to go. And Santa Barbara has got to get a decent possession here, give their defense a rest. You can see some of the defensive players on the other side really looking a little tired. There's Lorimore, takes it inside, takes the look back up to Jacobs. Jacobs trying to get free. Jan Holland. It's inside, nice take, and another pipe. And both teams hanging with Wesley Pipes right now.
and a tough angle, though, right there. I mean, he's coming in righty on the left side, and it's just a tough angle to get there. And Grand Canyon with the ball. I mean, I think right there, UCSB has to chase out those shots.
Yeah, and then it's Chris Holland playing defense down there, who's another one of those guys who's a real hustle guy, plays well on the defensive end, and here he is. He's got a lot of pace. He's a big kid.
Yeah, he's definitely a big kid. He's got some size to him.
Pretty shiny stick down there for Drew Dadzik.
Yeah, these Grand Canyon players aren't afraid to get a little flashy. And you have Holland with a pink head there. You got just the way that they play even is a little flashy.
Exactly. Don't care.
Yeah.
They put it out there. If that's who you are, then
Right.
that's the way you should be. And we've seen that they've been successful not only so far tonight, but all season. Playing some real games. I know I mentioned earlier they had a pretty ambitious schedule. They put Cal Poly, who is the runner-up in the national championship last season, BYU, UC Santa Barbara, Arizona State, obviously in league, and Chapman as well. And they played them all straight up, with the exception of UC Santa Barbara. They were all one-goal games, one of them being a victory against Arizona State. So, and there's a great take, the fake and the finish, and that is the goal of the game so far by Farrell. And you can tell how confident he is in his stick because he's getting good checks all the way through. You just can't use your stick. You got to come through with the body if you're coming through on the slide there.
Absolutely. Grand Canyon. Chris, we started talking about Santa Barbara possibly blowing these guys out in the beginning of this game, but Grand Canyon, they walked in here with some confidence, and I think for a team that had just recently made the jump from D2 to D1, it's impressive to see how much poise and confidence they have in these types of games.
Absolutely, and I mean you can see some of those players. I mean, Barton is one of those guys who you can tell has a lot of confidence, and he goes out there and makes the other players better. And there's a nice pick by Carlson, and they want to go on the fast break looking for Jacobs, and Lopster unable to pick that one up, and then loses the handle, gets it inside, and again can't quite finish. Probably going to get a push in the back there, and they do. Nice play by Samuel going down there. Another freshman, another one of the top freshmen here. I mean, you have to think that this is a battle we're seeing of two of the top freshmen in the league, in Farrell and Samuel at the attack position. We got a tweet from Tyler James Farrell, who's his brother, tuning in. So thanks for tuning in. Glad you're watching. Thanks for the tweet, and everyone else, if you're tuning in, be sure to. Send your tweets our way at CMarshallTLN and comment on the feed as well. We'd love to hear where you're watching from and what you think about the game so far. A 2-goal lead, just under 3 minutes to go for the Lopes. Santa Barbara on defense. Jacobs with the ball, and you can hear some of the parents chiming in. Want to see some more movement. Look inside. There's Jacobs with the rip and the goal. What a shot! Just catch, turn, shoot. You can't do it much better than that. I mean, that's textbook.
Jacobs found himself in the soft spot of the defense, and it looked like Johnny Morgan took a look at him. Didn't want to pass it. He passed it right up top and just got it inside. Jacobs, catch, turn, finish. Great play.
And that's what you have to do on the crease. I mean, if you hold the ball and turn and try and take your time on that shot, you're going to get your clock clean.
Right.
So it's exactly how you want to do it if you're playing on the crease. And a really, really good play, good finish. And there's not a whole lot you're going to do if that's not right at the goalie to stop that from going in.
We got a comment here from CDM Boys Lax, giving a shout out to some of their some of their alums playing in this game, Taylor Epp and Alex Mainthau for the Gauchos.
Yeah, and again, the #1 seed in the Southern section. The CDM boys are poised to make another deep run this season after coming away with the championship last year. I know we were at that game. Regular all-star game when they played PV last season. A lot of really talented players for both those teams. Try to get in, keeping it. It's Cody Wagner, the sophomore, going for the swim. Switches hands, gets it across. What a catch! Unbelievable that got through. Farrell unable to keep that one on the cage, and the ball's going to go to Santa Barbara.
Yeah,
that was a very close call. It looked like he got there towards the end, but it was such a quick shot and a little bit of an unsettled situation. Maybe Carlson got the call there.
What a catch by Farrell, though. I mean, a little bit of a ambitious low to high rip there, but what a catch.
Well, I mean, that's what you got to do if you're there. I mean, that's a great grab. And Bowles thinking about taking the shot opposite to pull it back out. And again, I mean, it's like Jack Coyne was telling. I mean, Santa Barbara doesn't want to get in a shootout. I mean, they don't have the legs to play that way. And so they certainly have the talent, but I mean, they're going to have to, if they win this game, come back on Sunday and play a very talented Arizona State team. And that makes a difference. You see some of these smaller teams having to play games on, 2 games in 3 days against, some of the top teams. Goes for the stick fake there. Looks like he's getting inside, takes the shot, going to get the flag. Not sure what the call was there. Oh, it's going to be a hold. Let me see if we can get the call from the official. Looks like we just missed it as Biz is down there. Our mic'd up official for the game. One of the good ones. And that one's going to go against Aaron Buca, the junior. 31 points on the season so far. Definitely a contributor on offense as well as defense for the Gauchos. And this is our first look at the extra man unit for either one of these teams. Knudsen moving the ball. And I know just from seeing him play last season, I haven't seen him play much this season. What a finish! That's Chris McWilliams, the senior captain, showing everyone else how to shoot the ball. It's a perfect change of plane, bounce shot, top shelf. Nothing you can do about that if you're Conrad Carlson.
Absolutely. What a goal there. A nice big bouncer on this turf. And a couple interesting comments about this field. Just got a message here from Taylor Gilbert, who's talking about, one of the captains from Santa Barbara last year, talking about how playing on this field, the lines are a little bit confusing. The box seems to be a little bit smaller, which causes the defense to slough in a little bit more, which allows for more outside rips. So we just saw that one from deep right there from McWilliams, and it's possible that could have something to do with it.
Yeah, and the other thing to factor in on those bounce shots, let's see, going to be a timeout, and that's lucky to get the timeout call there by Coach Rapkin, but definitely a heads-up play because you don't want to give up a quick one there and lose this two-goal lead that you've got.
Absolutely, and like to take this opportunity to let you guys know that everything you see here in the SLC Game of the Week is through the eyes of TVX Video. You guys can check out tvxvideo.com to find out more about how you can get your game filmed as well. Ted's doing a great job covering this game, as he'll be covering the entire SLC tournament. You can catch the D2 action tomorrow right here on the Lacrosse Network. We have Occidental College taking on Cal State Fullerton and UCSD taking on Concordia. The winner of this game will take on
Arizona State,
the Sun Devils, and I think whoever it is, they're going to have their hands full.
Yeah, Arizona State is always tough. I mean, they're so well coached and they got a lot of good players, and this year especially. I mean, they came to play, and any one of these teams could come away with the victory. It's crazy how good these 4 teams are and how evenly matched they are as well.
And Chris, I know we were talking before the game about this Grand Canyon team, and I know that you think that this game really determines if they go to Greenville.
Yeah, I mean the way I see it, they are the first team out. I mean things could change obviously. I mean I think they only played 12 games on the season. They were 8-4. The only quality win they've got is against is against Arizona State, but it's late, which helps them. The other thing that hurts them, I think, is they'd be the number 4 team from the SLC. And it's tough because, if you get punished because the rest of the teams in your league are good, it's unfair. I definitely think they're good enough to go. It's just a matter of, I think it'll come down to if there are no upsets in the tournament, who the voters like better, Grand Canyon or Cal.
Right.
Because, Grand Canyon had a bad loss to Cal Poly early in the season, and Cal beat them, and I think that's what it comes down to. And there's the shot, a great kick save. Able to get in front of that one is Wilkerson.
What a save there. Bucco was just, that shot was going for that bottom corner.
Yeah, it looked like a hockey save. He's out on skates kicking his leg out like that. Jacobs back to Lorimore. Bowles inside, finds Lorimore again. Lorimore trying to get his hands free. Wilkinson with a big catch going down the field, and that's going to do it for the first quarter of play. And Lopes showed up today and want to come away with the victory, want to go to Greenville, want to go to the championship, and they're up 5-3 at the end of one. A far cry from what we had the early game. Already 8 goals being scored.
Absolutely, and Grand Canyon really came out, and they came out to play. A team that's new to this Division I and the first time in the D1 conference tournament, but it looks like they really came to play, and we'll have to see how that turns out in the second quarter here. After one, Grand Canyon's up 5-3. You're watching the Lacrosse Network.
All right, welcome back. We're just about ready to get underway here in the second quarter of the second live SLC semifinal here on the Lacrosse Network. I'm Chris Marshall, joined by Samir Chaudhry. And definitely be sure to send us your questions, comments. We love to hear what you have to say, both on the feed below and tweet at me at CMarshallTLN. I'd love to hear from you. And the story of the quarter so far was it's just huge changes in momentum. You see Santa Barbara comes out at the beginning of the first and scores 2 goals in under a minute, and then Grand Canyon storms right back and scores 3 in a row. And then they've been trading blows since then. The score now 5-3 in favor of the Lopes. But this is the Grand Canyon forcing the Gauchos to play the game that they want to play, and going to be a push from behind going for the quick whistle. Here's Bowles, and I think it's going to hurt the Gauchos as this game wears on.
Absolutely. And how about Grand Canyon's play at the faceoff X? It's definitely been pretty impressive.
Absolutely. And that's one of those things that you have to see. You need a good faceoff guy to play well. And I think that's been a big contributing factor to why Arizona State has been so good. And I think that in itself, the fact that they were able to beat Arizona State probably has something to do with their ability to neutralize Zach Handy. And there's a look across the crease. That was a great look. Walsh can't quite come up with it. But that's the kind of look that you expect to see from these Santa Barbara Gauchos. Coming across, here's Jacobs. Jacobs takes the rip and buries the shot, pays the price. But it's always worth it.
Wow, what a goal by C.J. Jacobs. A couple of great looks from the Gauchos. Cross crease. Just catches it, and just buries that on the run. Unbelievable goal. And I think something that we talked about was if C.J. Jacobs has a great game, the Gauchos are tough to stop.
Absolutely.
Jacobs with 2 goals already in this first half.
And good goals, you know. I mean, it's not like he's out there rolling them in there and getting them by the goal. He's out there working and scoring great goals, and that's the thing you got to look for out of Santa Barbara. A nice little hockey touch coming across, able to kick it back to himself. It's a real great play there by Hemway, and the Lopes are back on offense with a 1-goal lead, and you'd have to think they'd like to come out with another one. Here's Knudsen, the sophomore, another one of the young guns for the Lopes, and he's a really talented player. I remember seeing him last year have some pretty big games against Fullerton and some of the games that we were able to watch. Barnes, another sophomore, coming in. Buys man, nice help defense from the Gauchos. Move it back inside to Barton and back to Barnes. Barnes looking to spin, switches hands, draws a double. Lucky not to get a trip there. Cuts through 3 men and then scores the goal. Doing it all himself. That is unbelievable. One-handed goal going down to put the Lopes back up by 2. Barnes. Whoa.
What a goal right there. I mean, really going through the entire Santa Barbara defense there. I mean, how did he put that in, Chris?
He fought through 3 guys, falling down one-handed. That's as spectacular as any goal you're going to see this whole tournament.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we were just saying. It's Grand Canyon. I mean, they're flashing. They can get it done. I mean, they kind of remind me of oh wow, look at that. Just when we were talking about
it. looking like Magic Johnson, circa 70-something.
Oh wow, what a play there by Andrew Cooney. Now Santa Barbara's on the break.
And you know they'd love to get one back here. Looking for Bowles. Bowles heard the footsteps. Can't come up with the ground ball. It's picked up by this Linford, Tate Linford, the captain, sophomore captain. And you know I'm calling these names all out here, and they're all freshmen and sophomores. It's scary to think these guys are going to be here for 2 more years and get a lot better. I mean they've got as much talent as any of the other teams we've seen play this season.
So, Chris, what happens here if Grand Canyon beats UCSB in terms of the national conversation?
They're in, as far as I'm concerned.
And what about UC Santa Barbara?
UC Santa Barbara is also in, as far as I'm concerned.
So then who's out of the 4 teams?
I think all 4 of them go.
All 4 of them
all
go.
4 of them go if Grand Canyon wins tonight. But because I think they all deserve they would all be in the top 10 in the poll.
Right.
Especially coming off 2 or back-to-back victories over top 10 teams. One being Arizona State and then one being Santa Barbara. And I think Santa Barbara played well enough against Colorado State, Chapman to warrant a trip. And you know, I mean, there's history there with the program, and they're playing well enough to I think deserve to go. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Grand Canyon deserved to go, based on their ability. It's just tough because they only played 12 games. They're the new guys, and it's the 4th team. Big shot, big save by Carlson. Another big rip. Farrell just letting them fly right now.
But I think that, like you said, it's scary to think these kids are freshmen.
Yeah.
As a freshman to have that
swagger.
Exactly. To have that kind of swagger is amazing.
It's exciting. Is what it is. I mean, it's fun to think. I mean, you look at some of these guys, and there's a nice trail check, an unbelievable catch again by Farrell, almost able to bury that quick stick right into Carlson, who was in great position. But there's a lot of flash in these sticks. It's exciting. This is very exciting and a very different game than we saw earlier. It's fun. I'm having a good time, and I hope all you are at home as well, because this is a real treat.
So we have
Carlson brings it up, finds Barry. And looks like it's going to be an offsides, but this is going to be on Biz. Let's see if we can hear him. See if we can hear what's going on. That's a bad call. If you see, there was on the far end of the field, it looked like Lormore was down there, and it looks like they're going to pick the flag up, and Santa Barbara's going to keep the ball as the other official on the far side of the field was able to correct that call. But that's a real deflator if you're Santa Barbara, because they were moving in on the break there.
Got a question here from A.J. Davison, 07, wondering who had the Gauchos' first 2 goals, and it was Johnny Morgan and Ryan Walsh who put in the first 2 for the Gauchos.
Yeah, and great goals. I mean, all the goals have been good. There's no gimmies here for these guys. I mean, they're playing well and they're scoring great goals. Nice skip pass to Jacobs. Jacobs looking to get his hands free, takes the rip, and just off the mark, but it's going to be a possession shot. And Santa Barbara's going to keep it. Bowles looking inside. Nice quick to Morgan, and Morgan hits it and then gets hit high. Surprised not to see the flag there, but definitely paid the price, and there's 2 in a row, so you know if you go in there, even if you scored the goal, you're going to get it.
But Johnny Morgan, what a catch. What a catch and finish inside there from our player to watch.
Yeah, and Morgan's sick. He can do it all, and that's something that's it's exciting to watch when you see guys who are exciting to watch. And I think Farrell's been stealing the show so far for the Lopes, and you know if he and Barton both get going, it's scary.
And right there, Santa Barbara scoring at the end of their man up. They had a couple looks, one look up to C.J. Jacobs, and he kind of dodged down the right alley, but when they're successful, they find that open man in the middle of the crease on their man up.
It's Jason Klein, another freshman, bringing the ball across for the Lopes. Holding on, he's got a matchup with the shorty there. A nice switch. Wagner looking for the shot just off the mark, possession shot, as Barton's going to bring the ball in for the Lopes. There's Cooney, going to have his hands full tonight. Doing a good job keeping him from turning the corner there. And we've seen already early in this game how dangerous Barton can be with the passing. Definitely a dangerous player. Mason coming in, a junior. One of the elder statesmen here for the Lopes.
And he was in the crease right there. It's going to be a change of possession.
Oh, it's going to be a push.
Oh, wow.
Going against the, so pushed into the crease. Unfortunate call. You see Coach Allen over there doesn't like it. And Lopes are going to keep it with just under 9 minutes to go in the game, holding on to a 1-goal lead. Jeff Barnes bringing the ball in. Over to Farrell. And I think this is a big part of that game. Farrell's already by his man, switches hands, takes the shot. That one picked up behind the goal, again by Klein. Klein looking inside, and what a finish. That's a great pass, even better finish by Wagner. Freshman to sophomore connection there, and the Lopes, they're good.
What a look, cross crease. I mean, first of all, to see that look. Second of all, to gun it over there. And then to catch and finish it, unbelievable play from the Lopes right now.
Yeah, I mean they're brash. They don't care. They don't care that they're freshmen. They don't care that they're sophomores. They don't care that they're the new guys. They're going to go out there and play their game and flash some sticks and score some goals. I'm excited to watch this game. I can't wait to see what happens next. And I missed you on that one, Jack. I'm not going to lie. As Jacobs gets de-sticked on the face-off, but able to move it back into the offense. There's Morgan trying to back in, draws the quick double, and that's a good switch from the Lopes. Able to pick up the ball is Bowles. And looks like Coach Allen wants to talk it over. Here with 7:59 to go in the first half. Down 7-5 to the Lopes.
Yeah, and a smart timeout there from Coach Allen. They have the ball on offense. They need a nice long possession here, and they have to put the ball in the back of the net. So they're going to talk it over and see if they can find a way to exploit this Grand Canyon defense. I think it's mainly keeping the ball away from the Grand Canyon offense that they have to worry about.
That's the problem,
yeah.
Definitely. If they need to make the most of their possessions. I mean, they can't. Their defense is going to get run ragged, and they've already found a matchup that they like. It looks like Farrell's got too much speed for Santa Barbara to handle right now. See if they can switch maybe put. See, it's tough because you want to leave Cooney on Barton. So I mean, they really haven't had any answer for the Lopes so far this half on offense. So it's going to be one of those things where they have to slow the ball down, take a little bit of the air out, and try and give their defense a break. Looks
like we have SLC President Matt Holman checking in from the Santa Barbara huddle. So we'll see what he has to say right after that. But just a reminder, you're watching the exclusive SLC action right here on the Lacrosse Network. You can watch it all weekend long. After tonight's game, you can watch the D2 semifinals tomorrow and the championship games on Sunday. Let's check in with SLC President Matt Holman after he was in the SB final.
Guys checking in from the Santa Barbara huddle. Coach Allen's stressing a set formation. Looks like we're going to look for a dodge down the middle to draw to the wing dump step down shot. We'll see if it works out here. Grand Canyon's huddle really just tightening up on offense. Coach Redkin talked more about doing some deuces sets and things like that. So we'll see how things develop here the rest of the quarter.
It's Buca moving down the alley, trying to get a little bit of separation, but fighting through that is McWilliams.
And you hear President Matt Holman.
And there's Walsh with the quick shot. Wilkinson all over it.
Matt Holman talking about the Santa Barbara Gauchos looking to run out of a set, and like you say all the time, a Mike Allen coach team, that's what they like to do. They like to run out of sets. They're a very disciplined team, and we'll see how that plays out the rest of the game.
Nice clear. Here's McWilliams getting free and looking inside for Holland. Holland looks like he wasn't expecting that one, and the Gauchos get the ball back over to Samuel. Looking inside, there's the shot, and another big save by Wilkerson. Looking pretty sharp here after the timeout with two fantastic saves, one low and one high. Wilkerson bringing the ball up, just doing a little directing. Wilkerson, also a sophomore, moves it to Tate Linford, and Linford's coming across. Look inside, takes the shot, misses, or saved rather, by Conrad Carlson, and then put back in the crease as Santa Barbara goes back into the clear. Cooney has some space, looking for the cross-field pass. Surprised he didn't take a little bit more of that space since he's got a pretty good stick. Moves it to Barry, and Barry over to Jacobs. Jacobs cuts through the defense, got a line down the middle, takes the shot, and that one just barely missed that top right corner. He doesn't miss very many of those.
Jacobs kind of just exploded right there through the defense.
Yeah, no, definitely found the hole, and blew right through it. And that's something you see from him. He's got a real explosive first step, and he used it to his advantage right there. I don't think they were expecting him to cut through like that. Again, Jacobs again from up top over to Buca. Buca getting his hands free, takes the rip, another bounce shot, that one off the mark, but a possession shot for the Gauchos as Samuel's going to bring the ball in. Samuel up to Jacobs. 5:42 to go in the first half. Still a 2-goal game in favor of the Lopes. Hands free over to Walsh. Dangerous pass as Holland got in the mix there. Again, and that's a grand ball matchup that I think favors the Lopes. As Walsh gets in, moves it to Jacobs, and this is a good matchup.
Oh, an ambitious cross crease pass there from Jacobs. And we've seen Grand Canyon do it a couple of times, but we haven't seen UCSB successfully hit one of those cross crease passes yet.
Yeah, and I think Jacobs, when he's in that close, has got to take that rip. I mean, he can score that. And Wilkerson trying to get the ball through, and it's going to be off of Grand Canyon, off of Wagner, and it's going to go to the Gauchos, but kind of a lucky break there for them as they are able to keep the ball. Samuel now looking for Jacobs, and back up to Walsh. 4:53 to go in the first half. Still just a 2-goal game. Scoring slowing down just a little bit here in the second quarter, but not much. And Santa Barbara definitely a couple times this season shown they can put some in the net. They dropped a twomp on SC. Look inside, takes the shot. There's Morgan just off the mark, but picked up by Bowles, and that's a good shot for Morgan. They're getting his hands free. He's in close, and 8 out of 10 times, he's going to bury that, and that's a great check inside. That one coming from the sophomore captain Linford, able to disrupt the pass from Jacobs and cause the errant pass there.
Yeah, but that look from Johnny Morgan, it was just a great play in general from UCSB. If they can keep on generating those looks, they'll be successful on the offensive side of the ball.
And there's 2 big hits in a row, one from either, and that's going to be a high hit or a cross check. See, wait for the signal here, but it's definitely going to be one of those. And it looks like I'm not going to get the call from the official here, but definitely a cross check, and was high as well. But it was going to be one of those 2 things when you saw the flag go in the air. And that one going against Graham Wiley. Looks like.
It's a Grand Canyon foul, cross check.
One thing you talked about, Chris, was the lack of depth on the UCSB side of the ball, and you see that when Jacobs threw the ball away on that last play, he just went straight back and to play on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
He wasn't running off the field. He's one of their main offensive players. So.
Yeah, that's the thing you see, and but these guys are used to playing all game. So you don't really have to worry about them, and especially you see them playing against Chapman. These guys are the same guys that are on the field all game, but they still were able to come back in that game. And there's Jacobs with the shot. It's the pace that they're playing at now that I think is going to be a problem. Here's Samuel. Takes the shot, and that one off the pipe. Ball still down and picked up. That's a great ground ball coming from Garmin. Moves to Wilkerson. And with 3:17 to go, Grand Canyon's going to try and wait out this penalty. Got about 15 seconds to go. Wilkerson's coming up. And that's a great look. Unable to come up with the ball, though, unfortunately for the Lopes, is Mahaney. But right up the field, and that's more of that surgical precision coming from Santa Barbara. And Liebman takes the shot and scores the goal. Bounce off the shoulder of Wilkerson, and that's a big goal from a player you don't expect to score goals. In Liebman, actually his 13th on the season, but definitely someone you don't see as one of their first options. And also something that you don't normally see out of a Santa Barbara team, going straight to the cage. But cuts the lead down to 1, and with under 3 minutes to go, the Lopes holding on to a 7-6 lead.
Absolutely, and Ryan Liebert puts in his 13th goal of the season. This is also his 13th point. 13 goals, 0 assists for Ryan Liebert, so he seems like he's used to pushing it down the field and putting the ball in the back of the net.
And Lopes going right back at it. Here's McWilliams. McWilliams looking to go inside, takes the big hit, is in the crease, gets the push. I'm not so sure about that one. He lands in the crease. I don't think he got pushed. It looked like that's where he was going. He must be catching some of that NLL action live on Lacrosse Network.
Yeah, absolutely. NLL into the playoffs right now.
There's Keeson, moves it over to Wagner. Wagner has the short. He looks like he might want the matchup here. Trying to get his hands free. Draws the slide, moves it inside, takes the shot, and that one eaten up by Carlson.
Carlson seeing the ball very well right now. And Santa Barbara clears it.
And there's Bowles getting the ball from Barry. And again, getting a look at the second line, guys. Here's Tilbury in. Scratch that. It's back in as Walsh. But we've been calling a lot of the same numbers. There's about 4 guys we've seen come in on the offensive midfield, 4, maybe 5, going in with Jacobs, Walsh, Buca,
Laura
Moore, and Lieber. But those are the only guys that have run any midfield on the offensive side for the Gauchos. And it's really a blistering pace going up and down the field because they're not waiting. And then there's Morgan, who's looking for the push, and that's at least they're calling it consistently, because that's the exact same call that the Lopes have been getting on the other side of the field. and I think that's why Morgan went for it. Jacobs, 1:15 to go in the half. Takes the shot, a great save. You saw that the whole way. Wilkerson, that one almost snuck in on the bounce, but you see that he tracked it the whole way. Jacobs taking the high to low, changing the plane, and Wilkerson really playing well for the Lopes. Coming inside, taking the shot, and just off the mark, pulled it a little bit, but DeDonatis, pretty slick.
And we got a timeout here from Grand Canyon, but Jacobs, we got some great end-to-end action here. Jacobs with a nice shot at hip level, eaten up by Wilkerson.
Yeah, and you could tell that he saw it the whole way because you could see him tracking it with his body and his stick. It wasn't one of those where he made like a quick reaction save, and that's textbook, exactly what you're supposed to do. And you don't know exactly what Jacobs is going to do because of the goals he's scored. It's been one over the shoulder and one was on a bouncer. So you don't know exactly where he's going to go, so it's hard to anticipate. So just all-around fantastic goalie play from both teams.
Absolutely, and just to check out the YouTube comments right now, a lot of Lopes fans tuning in from different parts of the nation. We have some Lopes fans from Maryland. We have Chantal Barton, must be a relative of Carson, tuning in, and exciting to see that they're able to watch GCU in this playoff action.
Yeah, and then Jim Farrell is also tuning in, the father of Dean, and so we got the brother and the father. So I'm definitely glad that you're tuning in, and thanks for watching. So that's great. Glad we can bring you such an exciting game here live from San Diego, the SLC semifinal, Grand Canyon versus Santa Barbara, live on the Lacrosse Network. Again, I'm Chris Marshall, joined by Samir Chaudhary, and definitely keep those comments coming. We love to hear where you're watching from, what you think about the game, what you think about the SLC tournament, and what you think about what we're saying about Greenville and the national tournament. That's why we talk about it. We want to know what you think, and definitely want to hear from you. So send your tweets to me at CMarshallTLN, or comment below on the YouTube feed. Look inside for Barton, and Barton thought he was clean and free, and Jacobs out of nowhere gives him a pretty good pop in the shoulder, but somehow Grand Canyon comes out with the ball. Farrell trying to cut through, loses the handle after a big-time check, flips it up, wants it back, gets it to Barnes with 37 seconds to go. And he wants to go to X, has the shorty, working on Jacobs. Jacobs, an excellent individual defender. Gets the switch, looking for Barton after the switch. Nice lift, flips it out. Here's Morgan. Morgan looking to get through, and it's going to be offsides, going against the Lopes. And 20 seconds to go. You know that, and that one tipped just enough to change the plane to make it hard to catch. And the Lopes are right back at it, 11 seconds to go. Going to have to get something going here pretty quickly. The spin, doesn't want to move it, finds Farrell. Farrell cuts and cross, loses the handle, takes a hit, draws the flag. And it's probably going to be a high hit. And looks like the Lopes are going to be going into the second half, a man up and a goal up.
Yeah, and that's huge for the Lopes. I mean,
absolutely.
As we say, the beginning of the third quarter is extremely important. It sets the tone for the second half of the entire game. So, I mean, as of right now, after 30 minutes of play, Chris, what are your thoughts on the first half?
I'm extremely impressed by Grand Canyon as a whole. They're very sharp, they're very flashy, they're very young, and it's the brand of lacrosse that I like. And that I played when I was at Chapman with those years when they were putting up 18, 19 goals a game. So I mean, I'm excited to see it, and I'm happy about how close the game is, because I mean, like we said, it was 2-0 in under a minute for Santa Barbara at the beginning of the game, and for them to be where they are now at 7-6, it was definitely not what I was expecting at the beginning of this game.
It looks like they put 0.4 seconds back on the clock, and Grand Canyon is going to hold it for 0.4 seconds so that they are actually going to start the third quarter with the ball in their possession.
And that's a big break. I mean, to kind of eyeball 0.4 seconds at the end of the half is pretty brutal. And looks like, so you can hear some of the from the other sideline coming from.
Man for a minute. Please do not enter the field. Please do not step on the field, guys.
All right. Well, I think we're going to avoid the field. But I don't know if you heard some of that coming across over the PA, but it's going to be a 1 minute unreleasable for a high hit going against Santa Barbara. And really fortunate that they put those 0.4 seconds back on the clock because if they hadn't, then they would have had a face-off, a man-down face-off that Santa Barbara would have. And instead, since they were able to hold the ball, they're going to start with the ball, man up, which is a huge advantage. Because, I mean, the scramble around a face-off could cost you, 10, 15 seconds.
Absolutely. So Grand Canyon going to start man up, and we were just talking about the first half thoughts, and what a game so far. Not something that I don't know if we expected it to be this close right now. I don't know if I expected Grand Canyon to be up right now, but very impressed with the Lopes. And I think it's going to be a dogfight for the rest of the game.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely a game that I was expecting to be close. I wasn't sure. I wasn't comfortable making like a definitive pick because I think that both of these teams are good, and I know that Grand Canyon, has everything riding on this game as far as I'm concerned. But I was expecting it to be lower scoring because I mean this is already more goals than we saw in the first game. 7-5 W for ASU.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching. We're going to take a quick break here at halftime, and we'll be back for second half action here in the SLC semifinals for Division I.
That you being on a phone and not listening to me is going to help you?
No, sir.
TLN SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and videos by getting TLN alerts straight to your phone. To sign up, just click the phone icon in the top right corner of our channel and input your mobile phone number. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network for the best in lacrosse content.
Honey, you do me wrong, but still I'm crazy. Do you really think that you being on a phone and not listening to me is going to help you?
No, sir.
TLN SMS alerts are the best. TLN SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and TLN SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and videos by getting TLN alerts straight to your phone. To sign up, just click the phone icon in the top right corner of our channel and input your mobile phone number. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network for the best in lacrosse content.
Honey, you do me wrong, but still I'm crazy.
And welcome back to the action in the SLC semis here live from UC San Diego with the Gauchos coming out a goal down to the #1 seed from the SLC South, the Lopes of Grand Canyon University. I'm Chris Marshall, joined by Samir Chaudhry, and you're watching the Lacrosse Network. And again, we've had a very exciting game so far. Grand Canyon coming out ready to play, looking very flashy, very exciting brand of lacrosse, and a lot of young kids. So it's exciting for the future, and it's exciting for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. And let's check in on our players to watch that we had mapped out in the beginning of the game. We have Johnny Morgan, number 44 for UC Santa Barbara, who has put in 2 impressive goals. He put in the first goal of the game and put in another one, catching one high on the crease. And then we have Carson Barton, who hasn't put one in the back of the net just yet.
But he has an assist, and he's been in the mix. I mean, I think that they're pretty much shutting him off, and I think they've found the slide package that works for them, where they get Barton on the crease, and then they let Farrell drive on his man, and they've been having a lot of success doing that because they know that they don't want to slide from Barton. So it's really he's affecting the play, even though he's not necessarily a part of it every time. But I definitely expect him not to be as quiet in the second half.
Absolutely, and just like you talked about him, he's an integral part of their offense. And you see him right now up top. The Lopes are going to start out man up, which is very interesting to start the second half of a game man up, especially for this UCSB defense. We'll have to see if they can hold him here.
Yeah, no, and they need to, because they, like I said, the Lopes want to get into a shootout. They can definitely run. They've scored quite a few goals against some of the more impressive teams. I know they had 14 against Arizona State in the game that they won. And there's the low-to-low rip, eaten up by Carlson. And there's Walsh moving the ball up to Cooney. Cooney cuts across, beats Barton. A little bit of a face dodge from the pole there, getting the ball through. And Santa Barbara's definitely going to want to try and run this out. They're shutting off Barry, trying to keep the ball in Cooney's stick, which is a pretty heads-up play. And finally able to get it over to Morgan. Morgan loses his footing, but maintains possession of the ball.
And this is a non-releasable penalty. So they are going to have to kill this whole thing.
Just about back up to full strength. 5 more seconds to go, and they're even. So that's a huge kill for the Gauchos. And I just got a tweet from Chris Castelli, who's tuning in from Lethbridge, Alberta, rooting for number 6. So it's Nick Castelli. So definitely happy to have you tuning in, and thanks for watching.
Amazing to see so many Canadian players on this roster.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing, because I mean normally there'll be some of the top MCLA teams will have 1, maybe 2. I know there's a bunch of Canadian guys who play for Concordia. But, I mean, they've got – I was talking to Mike Pelly. What a save by Wilkerson off Samuel right on the doorstep. And they said that they had 7, which is a lot of guys for Arizona. I mean, it's warm there, but I mean, it's funny to think that if you get a train of a couple Canadian guys who really like it, then there's a whole lot of talent up there that we haven't seen as much of, short of Simon Fraser. There's Farrell doing a no-look pass, just barely misses his man, and somehow Zedek comes out with it.
Look at that pass from the freshman Farrell, just behind the back.
It's brash, no look. I love it. I mean, that's the thing. It's you get some of these players out here, and you can see it across the field. It's infectious. You get these guys that have the swag, they just don't care. And it's exciting, and you build through it. If you make a great play, and you score a real big goal like Barnes did, I mean they're out there getting fired up, and you could feel it even over on this side of the field, in the broadcast booth, and it's fun to watch. I mean I definitely approve.
SB on the clear here, and no goals so far in the third. Santa Barbara with an opportunity to tie up the game here.
And this is one of those opportunities where, and that one almost taken away from Carlson. Fortunate not to give that one away and open up the open cage. And there's Farrell, takes it from him. Barry takes the shot, and what a save by Carlson. I was ready to count that one already. And then looks across and can't quite handle it. And that one's going to go stay in. Whoa. That one had maybe half an inch left, and that's wow. That looked like a flag to me. That's a full-on, chop across. And there's another one of those quick turn shots from Jacobs. He scored one of those. Barton, there aren't any walls on this field.
End-to-end action here in the SLC semis. I mean, This is definitely the game of the tournament so far. Granted, there's only been 2, but definitely one of the most fun ones to watch.
Absolutely. These teams are both good, and they both want to win. And then got a tweet here from Trey Lanthier, who's watching from home here on the call in the third quarter of the ASU game. But excited to see people tuning in and enjoying the action here.
Yeah, I can only assume that ASU team, after beating Chapman, knowing that they're going to the finals against the winner of this game, those guys have to be watching this from the hotel.
Absolutely. And then another shout-out from the Farrell family, Bob Farrell, tuning in from Ontario, Tilsonburg. So and that's a nice pick. So thanks for tuning in. As the Lopes go back on the fast break, there's Mahaney, another freshman for the Lopes. I mean, you got to think that Coach Manny Rapnick is thinking that Rapkin rather is thinking title here in the next couple years with so many young guys playing so well already. I mean, I think these guys could definitely make some noise even if they come in at a 10 or 11 seed. And I mean, I think that they're underseeded there.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, they've been playing tonight.
Yeah. But definitely a team that is very fun to watch. And here's Cooney looking for Barton, tries to get the pick, and getting it in the arm. Cooney not unapologetic with his checks. Keeson trying to get through, and Barton picking up the ground ball again, doing it all over the field. And unable to come up with that one, and that one's going to be off Barton.
Oh,
Sorry, it's going to stay with. That was a close call. I mean, he's got a better angle than I do. There's Barton, turns the corner, buries it on the near side. There was just enough room for the ball there, and he found it, and that pushes the lead back to 2 at the 9:30 mark in the third quarter, and that's a fantastic finish.
Yeah, and Barton, unbelievable stick handling ability. He doesn't have he's not a break your ankles dodger, but he's a powerful dodger. When he's moving upfield, it's tough to stop him. He has such a good stick. He's so comfortable moving through traffic that he can get through there, turn and shoot.
Well, it's like all he needed was a half step on that pick. And Cooney fought through it, and that's all he had was a half step. And he was able to get his hands free enough to put that in the corner, and that's a really fantastic finish.
So illegal procedure there from the Lopes. Santa Barbara gets possession.
And there's Barry looking to drop the ball off to Tilbury. Back down to Samuel. And Samuel looking back to Tilbury. And Tilbury can't pick it up, and that's on Samuel. He's got to take a look before he passes it. And here's Farrell. Farrell with a look inside, takes the shot, and buries it. And there's Zedick with his second of the game, the freshman, to push the lead to 3. And just like that, it's already a 3-goal lead again for the Lopes.
Yeah, unbelievable right there. I mean, any of these Grand Canyon attackmen, if they're left one-on-one with the keeper, there's no questions asked.
Good night.
It's going in the back of the net. But right there, that was just miscommunication, and I think a little bit of inexperience there from Tilbury.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is Tilbury's running off. He's playing on defense, and I think Samuel's got to have better field awareness. Samuel, again, one of the freshmen we were talking about, he's got to take a look. He can't just assume the guy's going to be there. You need to keep your head up and be on the lookout for who's over there. Tilbury gets the ball. Nice flip. I can't believe he got that one off anywhere near Bowles. Bowles moves it to Barry, and Barry down to Samuel. I mean, they've got to start going through their first guys. I get the ball to Morgan, let him try and create something. I got Buke up here, who's again dangerous on the dodge, and Jacobs. And with just under 8.5 minutes to go in the third, and the Grand Canyon Lopes have scored 2 quick ones, and looking for an answer are the Gauchos. And settling back into their offense, as you'd expect them to, looking for a look, and they've got to start scoring some goals here to keep up with the fast-paced offense for the Lopes. And there's Morgan, almost into a triple as you see McWilliams coming down, moves the ball up. Back in here's Jacobs. And Jacobs drawing the pole. Buca
Quick update from the RMLC tournament. Colorado taking down BYU 10-9. That had to be a fantastic game. And Colorado State taking down Utah 17-4. So we'll have a good old rivalry game there in the RMLC championship game. Colorado taking on Colorado State, #1 team versus the #2 team in the country.
Yeah, and I mean that's the matchup I think we were expecting. And it's tough because Colorado's going to have to come back. And there's Morgan with the shot, and that one just off the mark, but definitely the shot he was looking for. Possession shot as Bowles backs it up. But I think, and there's Morgan again left alone, takes the shot and buries the goal. And that's just a defensive breakdown coming from Garmin, another freshman, leaving Morgan by himself off the restart. And the Gauchos take one back and cut the lead down to 2 at 9-7 in favor of the Lopes.
Yeah, Johnny Morgan, I mean, left alone on that right pipe twice.
Yeah.
First one he took, he didn't really have too much of an angle, but he likes that low release. And second one, he moved upfield a little bit more, high to low, and just buried it.
Exactly. And like we were saying with the CU Colorado, I mean, I think I don't think CU played their best game when they lost earlier in the season to CSU by 5, 8-3. I mean, I think that CU is good enough to beat them. I mean, I think that the experience that CSU has is something that's been good for them. And there's a throwaway from the Gauchos because of the high pressure defense from the Lopes. And I think that CU has all the tools and the talent to beat CSU, but they're at a huge disadvantage having coming out of a 1-goal game with BYU when CSU has kind of a cakewalk against Utah. And it's going to be tough to go in there and beat them. But even if they lose, they're a top 3 seed.
Yeah, rematch of a game from earlier this season. Colorado State, and Colorado only putting in 3 there against CSU, but CSU, only putting in 8. So I think after talking to some of the guys from the Colorado side, it sounds like they're pretty confident if their offense produces, they're going to be just fine against CSU.
Well, and it's crazy to think that if CU wins that game, even if CSU loses, they'll still probably be the 2 seed in South Carolina.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's funny to think that you have some teams that are so good that you can lose your last game and still go in at #2. And way out of the box.
This is a similar set to what we saw from ASU when they would pull Cooper Piquel up top in that 1-4-1 set.
And, Max Berry just raking, able to knock the ball out of Keeson's stick. And that's one of the things we talked about, thought about it. And he's got you thinking. There's Farrell looking to make some moves, working on a body. Getting his hands free, flips it all the way back up to Keeson. Sorry, Klein. Sorry, Barnes on the struggle there. Holland looking to fight through and gets by his man. Nice trail check. Able to knock the ball out of his stick and picked up by the Gauchos. And the Gauchos been having a little bit of trouble, a lot more trouble than I'm used to seeing them have on the clear as Barry gets the ball into his stick. Real high pressure defense on the ride, and all of the unsettled situations from the Lopes with 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Still a 2-goal lead for the Lopes.
And let's check in with SLC President Matt Holman, see what he has to say.
Guys, just checking in with you up here. Looks like we're looking at a war of attrition here. Grand Canyon's really trying to isolate some of these middies, keep them on the field. They're calling out tired midi, and Santa Barbara's really trying to keep its limited subs fresh here. So we'll see how that pans out. But it's definitely getting down to where we're short on legs, and the depth is going to come into play. Back to you guys.
And there's Jacobs off the inside pipe, and that is
that was an unbelievable shot right there. But just what Matt Holman was saying, we've been talking about it for some time. These middies on Santa Barbara play both ways. They have to be getting tired right now, and Grand Canyon knows that.
Yeah, and then, they've only run 5 guys this whole time, 6. But Loremore's taken really limited runs. So it's tough to play the whole game. I mean, these guys are used to it. Slips, fortunate not to get the call there, coming over the top. Who's Bowles, got his man hung up, comes back over, moves to Walsh. 3:42 to go in the third. Walsh thinking about the shot, opts to pass it. A little bit of an unforced error again there, throwing the ball away. And Santa Barbara coming away with a couple good opportunities, but no goals. Well, back to Wilkerson.
Santa Barbara has got to get a little bit more comfortable pulling the trigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, Walsh right there, just take that lefty shot.
That's a nice take by Wagner. Nice little half step. And it's going to be offsides going against the Lopes. And the ball's going to go to Santa Barbara. Looking for the quick whistle, see if they can get something going on the offensive side. Again, Santa Barbara been having some trouble with the ride of the Lopes. And coming back across, that's Crana fighting through the double, able to get the ball across, and loses the handle. Picked up by Bowles, and then the ball back down. Ball still down, and finally picked up by. And it's going to be a call going
on the field. I need the in-home in the box for 30.
And looks like it's going to be another personnel problem for the Lopes. Looks like maybe too many men on the field, as the in-home is going to have to serve the penalty for the Lopes, and we get an opportunity to see the man-up unit again for the Gauchos. And this is a big opportunity. They need to score a goal here to keep pace, because we saw earlier in this quarter that, and again in the first half, that the Lopes are capable of scoring in bunches. Bowles, I think they want to find Jacobs, looking for the big rip once they get the rotation going. Move down to Morgan, who's open now. Morgan takes the shot, and just off the mark.
They got to be careful there. They got to be careful behind the cage. Wilkerson almost beating Bowles there.
And then leaving it wide open, and then scores the goal in the quick stick goal. What a finish!
It's Ryan Lieber.
Ryan Lieber with 2 goals on the night. What a finish. That's straight off the stick. Wilkerson with a fantastic save, and Lieber just buries it. No doubt about that one.
And Ryan Lieber coming out, I mean, we talked about this in the Chapman game, where you just have to have some of your guys step up, and Lieber with 2 goals on the night has really stepped up tonight.
Yeah, just coming out of the woodwork. I mean, that's a huge goal too. It's not only a challenging goal, but a really big goal. And picked up by the Gauchos, and you can hear the fans getting fired up.
Yeah, Grand Canyon traveling with a serious fan base here.
Yeah, and then the Calgary Chill checking in. Keep it up for Dakota Garant and Nick Castelli, guys who played for that team, as well as Andrew Herning, who's watching from Houston, Texas. Shout out to number 3 Matthew Herning and little brother. So a lot of family, a lot of fans turning in from across America and Canada. So happy to have you, and I'm glad there's such an exciting game for you guys to watch. And again, keep the comments, questions, anything you got, both on the feed below the video and to me on Twitter at CMarshallTLN. There's Buca, has the shorty, takes the shot, and that one just off the mark on the bounce. Wilkerson in pretty good position on that one, and has been playing really well. And that's something that, I mean, can't be understated. These teams have put up 17 goals collectively, but it's not because the goalies aren't playing well. I mean, it could just as easily be 10 or 12 for each of these teams. And there's the shot in the goal, and what a finish as Bowles buries it. And that is just fundamental lacrosse. You cut, catch, shoot.
Absolutely. Bowles, he's a fundamental player. He comes from up in Northern California, from Drake High School, and he's a fantastic player. And senior on this team, just a great cut, catch, and finish. And Santa Barbara looks like they're really coming back into this game right now.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing about it is they do it exactly how they draw it out, and it's so the contrast in the games that both of these teams play is pretty crazy, you know, and that they're playing so close, because Santa Barbara keeps it so close, and you know, they're just running and gunning for Grand Canyon, and under a minute to go in the third, game tied, ball down. Picked up, and another flip backwards, and this one looks like it's going to get picked up by Santa Barbara. 42 seconds to go. Looking inside, and that one picked off. Here comes Knudsen. Knudsen wants the rip, takes the shot, and that one just off the mark, but a lot of mustard on that shot. And 35 seconds to go as the Lopes are going to bring it in. Zedek looks inside, wide open. Barnes. Fortunate to get his stick on that is Dan Nevitt.
30 seconds here.
There's Farrell, 27 seconds to go. Moves it. I don't hate the matchup with Farrell right now. But Wagner looking to take Barry out. I know that we heard from Matt Holman and wants that right. And that's great defense again from Barry. I mean, if you can get that kind of defense out of your short sticks, you're in a good spot. And there's the shot, another one just off the mark. And 1 second left in the third quarter. And I've seen stranger things, but I don't think they're going to be able to get anything going here.
Wow.
Barton looks like well.
Yeah, unbelievable, but a tie ball game right now going into the fourth. I mean, you couldn't ask for better action here in the playoffs.
I mean, you really can't. Both games tied going into the fourth quarter. I mean, you see how evenly matched these teams are.
Great play, great job for Santa Barbara getting right back into this game, and we're tied here 9-9 at UCSD for our second SLC D1 semifinal game. And we'll be right back with fourth quarter action.
And welcome back to the fourth quarter of a tie ball game in the SLC semifinal. Grand Canyon and the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara trading blows in what has been, as far as I'm concerned, an instant classic so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Santa Barbara able to tie the ball game up in that last quarter. A goal from Ryan Lieber and a goal from Kevin Bowles.
Yeah, and a
goal from Johnny Morgan as well.
Exactly. I mean, and good goals too. I mean, all these guys. I mean, they're scoring great goals and fantastic goalie play on both ends. And a shout out to Flathead Lacrosse. Put one more in Gauchos. So definitely fans for both. And there's going to be a flag down. Let's see what Biz has to say about this.
Roughness, 1 minute.
And so you hear just the tail end of that one. It's going to be unnecessary roughness, which I believe is unreleasable. 1 minute for the Gauchos.
Yeah, and that was on C.J. Jacobs, and I think all game they've kind of been going after C.J. Again, if you take C.J. out of the equation, this Santa Barbara team is going to have a tough time going throughout the tournament, running just a few middies and running them back and forth on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's something we talked to with. We're having some conversations during halftime with some of the other coaches and fans, and I mean, you see it out there. I mean, they've got other talented players, but in the midfield, it's C.J. Jacobs. 30 seconds gone so far. Got another about 40 seconds left on this penalty, and what a handle by Bowles. Looking cross to C.J. Jacobs, takes the shot and scores the goal and gives Santa Barbara the lead. The first lead they've had in quite a while, and that's a huge goal, the third of the game for Jacobs.
Jacobs with a hat trick right there, and again, we've seen him do it all. That was just a rocket from up top.
Yeah, and it's like you knew exactly where it was, when it was coming and where it was coming from. Jacobs just goes up there and puts one right over the right shoulder. I mean, if you're Wilkerson, he's daring you to save it with that kind of shot.
So Jacobs with his third of the game, and just Santa Barbara takes their first lead of the game. Sorry, their second lead of the game?
Yeah, they're up 2-0.
They were up 2-0, you're right. Seems like a first lead in a while, though.
Yeah, definitely. That's a dangerous play, kind of a little hospital ball, and out. It flips it, no look pass. Weird. I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing for you to do it on the offensive line when you know you've got a guy there, but pretty risky for Wilkerson. Nice look across, ball down. Looks like Gauchos are going to be able to get it. Takes a big hit right in the shoulder. That's a let him play, as far as I'm concerned. It looked like it got him in the shoulder. He went down, but it was definitely a clean play from my angle. Fortunate for the Gauchos to be able to maintain possession on that. And that's something we've seen out of these guys. A lot of like hard hits and a lot of clean hits. I mean, these guys are here to play, and they're playing hard and they're playing big, and it's exciting. Barton fights through two. Wow! Almost gets the shot off, and his stick is so good, and he only needs about a few inches to get his hands free enough to get a pretty good shot on the cage. So 13.5 to go. Ball's going to be coming in from X. Ziadek bringing the ball in. Moves it up to Mahaney. 13:30 in to go. Gauchos with a 1-goal lead at 10-9. Here's Knutson. Sorry, Keeson. And Kyle Mason Jr., another one of the guys that hasn't seen quite as many runs as some of the younger guys for the Lopes, but back into this 1-4 kind of ISO set. Looking inside, behind the back pass, and a big-time rip. That's Farrell keeping it real.
Unbelievable. Honestly, Farrell has impressed me so much in this game. It almost reminds me of that, to compare MCLA to NCAA, just when Syracuse had Cody Jamieson and Stephen Keogh on the attack line. Yeah. Two Canadian guys who just had unbelievable sticks. And it's just a similar thing here. These guys have great sticks, and they're able to do things that defense wouldn't really expect.
Yeah, and it's so quick. I mean, with the kind of quick stick behind the head pass, it's faster even than a regular quick stick, and that's what's tough about it, because it's on the money and it's fast. Mason trying to get through. Barry on the switch, runs him down past GLE. Zedek back up to Keeson. Keeson trying to get his hands free. 12:20 to go in the game. Still 1-goal lead for the Gauchos, but the Lopes are threatening. Keeson moves it. There's Farrell. Wagner. Wagner moving. Through, switches hands. I mean, you can see he wants his right, and they're daring him to go left. And then with the double on Farrell, get the ball out of his stick, but able to get it back, and then runs into his own player, and the Gauchos are on the break. Big opportunity for the Gauchos to go up 2 for the first time since the beginning, and 2 pulls on the offensive end. Holding the ball pretty well. There's Cooney, the senior, looking for Lorimore, or Barry rather. Barry picks it up, and then there's the backwards pass trying to flip it to somebody as Farrell. It's going to be picked up by the Gauchos and cut through 2 attackmen. That's a great play coming through from Nevitt. Jacobs has it. Thought maybe he might take that one, but so disciplined on the offensive side as Morgan loses his foot and keeps the ball, moves it to Jacobs. Here's Buca. And back out into the settled offense. Buca working from up top. Samuel looking inside, finds Jacobs and buries it. What a finish. Fantastic catch, fantastic finish. And Jacobs put the team on his back, though.
Absolutely. We've seen senior captain C.J. Jacobs just come out in this second half, in this game in general. What a goal by C.J. Jacobs. I mean, the ball movement on the Santa Barbara side has become increasingly better throughout this game. I mean, that was unbelievable ball movement. Way to find him in the crease and just bury that one.
When that ball coming from the freshman Samuel, too. So it's amazing what both of these teams have been able to do in tight spaces on the crease, both finishing and passing.
Yeah, and Grand Canyon needs a goal right now to stay in this game.
Let's see, it's going to be a hold, and that's not the way I thought the hold was going to go. But the Lopes able to get the ball down 2 goals, 10:50 to go. I mean, there's more than enough time. I mean, they scored 2 goals, 3 goals in about a minute in the first quarter, and 3 goals in about the same amount of time in the third quarter. So this game far from over, but the Lopes need to do something on the offensive end, because the Gauchos have been pretty strong. Takes the shot, and that one's just off the mark, coming from Barnes with the lefty. And there's been nothing but highlight reel goals all game. And again, going for the pick. That's how Barton scored his last goal. Just trying to get a little bit of separation. And looking to get around the corner, binds it up top to Barnes. Barnes with the outside rip. Laser. 10 minutes to go.
And this pick game, you can see that comes from box lacrosse, especially the way they play the pick game.
Yeah, and then the look inside, and that went into the key, kicked his stick. That's a heads-up play. You run right through it, hits you in the shin. That's a lacrosse IQ play. There's Zedek trying to get his hands free, working on Nevitt, getting through, using that body, almost gets him with the trail check, bumps it back out, and that one's not going to get to the midline as Grant runs it down.
And even though they're down, Grand Canyon needs to get back to that. Playing with a little bit of swagger. You know, I mean, they when they were up, they were playing with a lot of swagger there, and I think just because they're down 2 doesn't mean that they don't have that confidence.
Absolutely. I mean, if there was 30 seconds left in this game, I wouldn't. The game wouldn't be over as far as I'm concerned. There's the shot again from Barnes. Barnes taking some pretty big rips from outside. And that one off the railing back there, back into the field of play, slowing them down a little bit as Klein looking to exploit the shorty matchup here.
He's got a double. He should move it here.
Looking for Barnes and getting a little antsy.
And Santa Barbara has forced these long passes from Grand Canyon. They weren't making those before. They were doing quick passes to the adjacent man, but Santa Barbara has done a great job on defense, doubling early.
And Nevitt is open in the middle here. But yeah, sorry, continue.
No, I was just saying they were doing a great job doubling early and forcing those long passes.
Well, and that's something that they're really doing now. I mean, you can tell that it's different from what they were doing in the first half. There's Buca with another great look inside, takes the shot and just off the mark for Samuel, but he had that top corner picked. And more just textbook ball movement coming from the Gauchos. 8:30 to go in the game. Still a 2-goal lead for the Gauchos, but the game far from over. Buca gets it into his right hand, moves it. Bowles from the outside, had Samuel on the doorstep. He kicks it to himself and running through. Here comes Linford, or D. Donatus, rather, and able to get it to Barton. 8 minutes to go. Mason, and taking a little bit of time to get their offensive guys on the field. Mason looking inside, and again, you see how clogged up the middle of the field is. It's almost like they're going to some of those adjacent slides. They're able to get by his man, but can't get the ball out, and it's going to be a push going against the Gauchos. I mean, not sure I saw that one, but a fortunate play for the Lopes. As Mason's going to bring the ball in, 7:38 to go in the game. And I at this point, I like. There's a look inside. That's exactly what they were looking for. Couldn't quite keep the handle on it as Grant.
Wow, what a look inside to Carson Barton, and what a save by Conrad Carlson.
And that's we talked about this earlier. There's 20 goals been scored, but it's not because the goalies aren't playing well. And there's the low to low, and I like the the matchup with Farrell and anyone right now. I mean, I know Barton's your guy, and there's the shot in the goal, an unbelievable one-handed handle, buries it, and he's in the crease. No goal. The ball going to Santa Barbara, and that's a huge call going the Gauchos' way. But Barton just, I mean, that's a pro move right there.
Catching it righty, going down that alley where, you know, he should be in his left hand, I guess, by American standards, but keeps it in his right and pulls inside and finishes. Unfortunate, he was in the crease. That was a great play.
And that's the thing. It's you can get in the crease in box lacrosse as long as you bury the goal, and that's some of the rule changes or rule differences. There's something that if you're an automatic player that you don't think about. You catch, shoot, score. And if you can do that before you get in the crease, then great. And it looks like they're trying to shut Jacobs off, which seems like a pretty smart move. There's getting free, gets one in the back, and you can hear the fans calling for the flag. Not going to get it. And again, looks like after that they're not shutting Jacobs off anymore. But with how methodical the offense is for Santa Barbara, I don't think a shutoff is a bad idea at all, especially since Jacobs is the man on the midfield for offense. Jacobs gets free, takes a shot, and scores another goal. And Jacobs, that's 3 in a row for him, and he's having himself a ball game.
Absolutely, C.J. Jacobs. I mean, we profiled him against Chapman. He had a game there, and he's having a better game right now. And I think he, being the senior captain, being a leader on this team for the past 4 years, he's ready to win himself an SLC championship.
Yeah, and he's playing like it.
Absolutely.
He's for as good as Farrell and Barton have been playing. Jacobs is as good as it gets tonight. Really having it playing as well as I've seen him play.
Yeah, a lot of, like you said, he is the catalyst, and I think that Grand Canyon has to think about shutting him off. He's too good. He's too good dodging, and it doesn't look like any of their short poles can handle him, or even their long poles can handle his dodges.
Exactly, and the thing about it is they're so technical in their offense.
It's got to be a Ward.
Gets by. There's Barnes. He's got to be careful coming close to that crease, getting in. There's Barton. Barton looking up, takes a shot. There's McWilliams, and another big save by Conrad Carlson. And I just eating that up. That's a good shot, changing the plane, bounce shot. I think he probably didn't get quite the kick that he wanted going up, but it's a great shot and an even better save. There's Perala bringing the ball in, taking some runs late in this game. Kind of surprised we haven't seen more of Lorimore, but Perala definitely one of the players who's pretty solid on the defensive end. Less dangerous with only 12 points on the season than a Lorimore or a Lieber, but definitely a bigger kid than both of those guys. If Lorimore steps on as well, looks like Jacobs is getting a little bit of a rest. See if they can go into their offense and take some time off the clock here. Nice look to Morgan. Morgan's going to get the double, 2 poles there. Moves it back up to Buca and over with a nice handle to Perala. And again, they're going to have to start thinking about this the shot clock as Buca takes the rip, and that one off the stick, I think, of one of the defenders. And then that one just sneaks through, and there's good man ball. I mean, that is exactly what you want. And then Perala back, and he's got a lane, takes the shot, and a big save, and he's got to get back because Wilkerson is going to go straight back at them as Barton has the ball and numbers.
Dan Farrell's pulling a shorty matchup here. Nice look.
What a save. That's a shaft save coming from Carlson. That one looked like a sure thing goal. Barton loses his footing and still makes a fantastic pass. And then Conrad Carlson standing on his head. Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's unbelievable lacrosse on both ends right now.
Again, 3.5 minutes to go. Still plenty of time for the Lopes to get in this game. I mean, they only need 5-6 seconds on the offensive side to score a goal. So, but they're going to have to start shooting, and because it's going to take a number of shots to beat Carlson the way he's playing right now. I mean, for him to stop that quick stick on the doorstep it's amazing. And there's Barton coming around. takes the shot, and that one just off the mark. Good defense from the Gauchos, getting as many sticks on him as possible, and he still almost got that in the goal.
There's Cooney working on the clear here. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in this ball game, and UCSB has really taken control here.
And here's Barton, where he's most dangerous. By himself, he's going to fight through it, gets his hands free, and buries the shot. And just like that, we're back to a 2-goal game, 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the game, and that's where he is so dangerous. You know, he had 2 guys to beat, and you felt as soon as he took his first step towards the goal that one, it was automatic.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I mean, growing up playing on a 4x4 cage with a goalie that takes up more than the 4x4, you can place that thing in a 6x6, no problem.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think everybody knew, including both you and I, when he picked up that ground ball, he was about to score.
Yeah. And wins the ball back to himself again, and they've been doing a really good job, and they're going to get a flag here. Let's see what Biz has to say about it.
Slash while the ball's 8 yards away from him. No, we're going man up here. You're going to have a free clear. Gold 3-6 with an off-ball slash.
It's a big break. You hear Biz with the call with the slash, because it's something that he's been getting away with all game, getting that in there. And I mean, I just kick the ball far enough away and just wait for the slash to come in. Heads up play for Hamway, and unfortunate call going against the Gauchos. And again, 2:22 to go. Plenty of time. And Farrell loses the handle and able to get it back up to Barton, back to Farrell. Farrell, I'm kind of surprised he didn't shoot that, but a lot of yellow shirts in the middle there. 2 minutes to go. Look inside to Barton. Barton looking for McWilliams. Can't quite get it, and it's staying. It's onto the offensive side for the Gauchos. Ball still down, finally picked up by the Lopes. Tossed up 11, 1:45 to go. Farrell gets the ball. Barton, thinking about the shot, takes the rip and scores the goal. That's 2 goals in under a minute for Barton, and he's putting the team on his back, letting C.J. Jacobs know that he's not the only player in this game.
Absolutely. Carson Barton, I mean, honestly, lucky for them to get that ball back. They had a little bit of a sloppy man-up possession there at the end, but Carson Barton, just one of the leaders on this team. We're seeing both the leaders take control.
Yeah.
And Barton with a great bouncer right there, showing his versatility.
And from a ways
deep.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the way Carlson's been playing, it takes something pretty spectacular to beat him. And you can see the fans getting excited here. It's getting loud. Both sides, as you hear the GCU fans cheering their faces off. Ball still down, 90 seconds to go. Picked up by the Lopes, who on a 2-goal run right here, both from Barton after 3 straight goals from Jacobs. And here they come. There's D. Donatis with the pole, looking to get inside. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. Zedek,
you have to think they're going to want to take a timeout here, and they do. I mean, absolutely. 1:16 to go. They got an opportunity to tie this ball game up. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, how they want to attack this Santa Barbara defense.
I mean, if I had to guess, I'd have to think they want to go back to the pick game and keep the ball in Barton's stick and see if he can get his hands free and get another shot on the cage.
Yeah, I think Farrell and Barton at X working a little 2-man game, but all of their players have been pretty impressive. But those 2 guys, I think, best stick handlers. You want the balls in their stick. See if they can make something happen back there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if you're gonna use Farrell, it's the matchup that he has against anyone one-on-one is favorable. So I mean, if you can get Barton back there, maybe with Zedek, and get some separation, even if he doesn't get the shot off, you have to think that other slide will be coming through, and if you can get Farrell on the back side, that's going to be a good look.
Yeah, absolutely. Zedek is not somebody that we've talked about too much tonight, but a really great stick handler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a big kid.
A big kid, yeah. So, I mean, even between them 3, 2 at X and 1 in the crease, they could find somebody in the crease on that backside look like you're talking about.
Exactly. But you have to think it's going to be with the attack for sure. because I mean that's what they've been their bread and butter all game, and that's who has the hot hand right now. And as we see the teams come back out onto the field, 1:16 to go, just 76 seconds, and 1-goal game. This is about as exciting as it comes. Season on the line for both of these teams, and a shot at Arizona State in the SLC championship at 1:30 on Sunday. Ball going to be starting at GLE on the far side of the field. Let's see who picks it up. So it's going to be Keeson.
Fans really picking it up right now.
And this is what play lacrosse is all about.
Absolutely.
Keeson moving the ball up. Interesting look. Just over a minute and 5 seconds. Now 60 seconds as Keeson has the matchup against the pole, and moves it now down to Zedek and over to Farrell. Farrell trying to get his hands free. Moves it not. Barton hasn't touched the ball yet. Looks like they might be shutting him off as Cooney all over him. And here comes Klein. 40 seconds to go in the game. Klein working on Jacobs. And wants to take it from X. Klein look for the cross across the crease. Takes a shot in the goal. What a finish, and there's Farrell just on the crease like we talked about, tying it up. 28.7 seconds to go. What a handle, what a finish. Farrell ties it up.
What a look inside to Farrell. And you know, the freshman, we've been calling his number all night. Unbelievable handle, great finish. This is exactly what playoff lacrosse looks like.
Stone cold killer. Man, he's got ice in his veins. Catches it low. I mean, it wasn't even a very good feed. Catches it low, dunks it. I mean, it's a game of runs, and now the ball going forward. He wins to himself and thinks about it again. Takes the shot across, looking to get his hands free. That's Mahaney, and 17 seconds to go. And Coach Rapkin wants to talk it over, and this is a very, very dangerous spot if you're the Gauchos.
Wow, what a ball game right now. I mean, an unbelievable catch and finish there from Farrell. And now Grand Canyon with an opportunity
to win this game. On a four-goal run.
Yeah, and go to play ASU in that championship game, a team that they've beat before. So
last week?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that's crazy about this is, you know, if you've been watching the face-offs at all in this game, Hamway has won them all backwards. That was the first time he went forward all game, and he just kept that in his back pocket, knowing that he can beat the Gauchos going backwards, and that they're not going to expect him to try and push it forward. And with 27 seconds to go, pushes it forward and is able to get an offensive possession here with 17 seconds to go and a timeout for Coach Rapkin. And that's just heads-up play out of Hamway, the freshman. So you see these kids who, you know, 18, 19 years old, who are out there playing like seasoned veterans. And again, 17.2 seconds to go. A trip to the SLC championship on the line. Maybe a trip to South Carolina on the line for both of these teams. And this is what it all comes down to. See who's going to start with the ball. It's going to be top right. And Farrell's going to start with it. 17.2 seconds to go. They're going to have to get the ball spinning to McWilliams, captain. 12-11 seconds to go. They're going to have to get something going. Coming out of a timeout, they're shutting off Barton. McWilliams has got to go to the cage. 5 seconds, 4, 3. Farrell's got the ball. 2, 1. Not even going to be able to get a shot off, and we're going to extra time. And that's not how they drew it up.
Absolutely not. And a great job from UCSB to come out there with a different look, shutting off Barton and confusing the Grand Canyon offense.
Because you know that's where they wanted to go. And it's crazy to me that Farrell just doesn't take that himself. Because he's got the ability. Barton is cut off, is shut off. You can't get the ball to him. I mean, you can't just pull it out like that. And that's not what I'd expect to see out of Chris McWilliams, the senior captain.
Let's listen in to head ref John Biskowski here as he explains overtime to these two captains.
All right, doing a great job, guys. We're enjoying this very much here. Here's the deal. At the opening coin toss, we had a choice. It was for goal and or AP. You won. You chose a side, so you by default got the AP. You keep it, okay? So what we're doing here in overtime is having a coin toss for which goal you'll defend for the first overtime period. We're going to play 4 minutes overtime, all right? If no goal is scored in that overtime period, fellas, listen up, we're going to switch it around automatically, okay? Each team gets 1 timeout per overtime period. If you don't use it, you lose it, okay? No carryover, 1 per, and that's it. All right, and then, of course, the most important thing about overtime is next goal wins. Sudden victory, young man, sudden victory. All right, here we go. Gold, you're still going to have the choice. Remember, USL is heads, and that's tails, right? Tails, heads. What do you like? He's going tails. But once again, it's come up heads, so you have a choice of which goal you want first overtime period. Swing it that way for me. Swing it. Okay. Whites won the toss. They've elected to defend this goal for the first overtime period. Bring them out. Let's play.
Bring them out.
Let's
Bring
go
them out.
Bring them out. Let's play. And that's absolutely right. I mean, at this point, we said it was going to be a dogfight, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and this is as exciting a game as I've seen all season. And you know, we've seen some real barn burners. And OT with ending on a 3-goal run by the Lopes, and this is, I'm fired up.
So as you heard Biz say, it is sudden victory. Next goal wins.
And I mean, you got to be very careful. It looks like not shutting Barton off. Gets it to him inside, moves it back up top. It's Mahaney. And over to Farrell, and Farrell gets it inside to Barton. Barton takes the shot, unbelievable handle, and almost picks that bottom corner, and he's so dangerous. You'd have to think that the move here is to shut him off. 3.5 minutes to go. Oh, and that one, unforced error from Zedek as the Gauchos go out on the break, and can't quite handle as the ball down, and then picked up by Jacobs. Who else? Probably could have gotten the hold there, coming over the top, but refs keeping the laundry close to their heart as it's overtime.
Yeah, great pickup there from Jacobs. But to go back to that catch by Carson Barton, I mean, what a catch! And Farrell didn't really seem to hesitate when he saw Barton cutting across. Even though he had a man on him, he's still going to throw that ball. He knows Carson can handle that.
Yeah. And there's Jacobs. You know, that's the one they want to go to. Has a shorty right now. Moves it inside. There's Walsh looking for the shot. And that one off the shoulder. Wilkerson, you got to be in the crease, so it's going to be Lopes' ball anyway. But 90 seconds gone in the first overtime period. Both teams threatening. No one able to get a shot on the cage yet. But it's still wide open. Both of these teams very dangerous. Gets the ball, and here's Knudsen.
I think Walsh, you know, as we saw before in the game, he's going down that left alley. He's got some space. I think he can take that shot lefty.
Yeah.
No need to cut back to your right hand there and decrease your angle and take the shot late. I think he could have shot that lefty.
Or behind the back.
Or behind the back, yeah. Either one.
I mean, it's all about improving your angle, really.
Right.
So 2 minutes, 14 seconds to go. Coach Rapkin wants to talk it over, see what kind of matchup they can get. It'll be interesting to see if Barton starts with the ball in an effort to keep him from being shut off, or if he's shut off at all. Because I know that he hadn't been shut off at the beginning part of this overtime. And I know there was a little bit of a wrench into your defense, but you basically just run your man down. So it's interesting to see what both these coaches are going to be able to draw up.
Yeah, I mean, overtime in the playoffs, there's nothing more intense than that. That's what I'll say. I mean, I've played in these kind of games, and there's nothing more intense than this right now. And two great opportunities from both teams. I thought Grand Canyon's opportunity was incredible. I mean,
yeah, it's a goal that they've scored a bunch of tonight. So that's as good as opportunity as they've had pretty much all game. And Barton just barely missed it. I mean, a couple inches off that corner, and that could have been all she wrote for the Gauchos, at least in the SLC tournament.
We'll see what Grand Canyon has drawn up here on the offensive side of the ball. See if they can end this one.
And Barnes going to be starting with it. And looks like they are, in fact, shutting off Barton, near as I can tell. Going to go up top. Here's Knudsen working on Barry. And Byam gets his hands free, takes the shot, is Farrell, and that one into the side of Nevitt, and then picked up by Carlson. And under 2 minutes to go in the first overtime period, we might see a second. And pulling it back, definitely being careful on the clear here. Gets it to Barry, who comes across, looking for Bowles, and then Coach Allen wants to talk it over. You know, real heads up timeout call there. 90 seconds, 93 seconds, a minute and 30 seconds left in the game. Gauchos with the ball, going to be coming out of a timeout. Let's see what Coach Allen draws up. You have to think they're going to be calling number 7.
Absolutely, and you heard Biz when we were in the lineups there before overtime saying if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
So both coaches opting to use their timeouts, but only 90 seconds left in this first overtime period, and if the Gauchos can put one in here, they'll end it. But otherwise, I think you might be right. I think we might be seeing multiple overtime periods here. Absolutely.
And then Jack Coyne taking time to tweet at me. There's some high seeds who better hope GCU doesn't make the tourney. And you know, I hope I'm wrong, honestly. That they definitely have all they deserve to be there. And you know, I hope that good sense prevails in this case, rather than anything else. But they are very, very dangerous. If they play the way they played tonight, I don't think there's anyone that they can't beat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hope some of the voters are watching this ball game, because these guys definitely deserve to be in the national tournament.
Yeah. And I mean, granted the Cal team I saw was in their first game of the season, but the difference in level is night and day. Jacobs going to start with it. Has the shorty still.
Surprising they didn't pull him. Oh, now they're switching. Yep. They
maybe in a kind of a zone, slide zone. Interesting look. Is Morgan has it, moving it up to Buca. And they might be going into that. Buca takes the shot, and that one just off the mark. Looked like Wilkerson was all over it, but he had that far bottom corner picked out and almost hit it. Coming again, here's Jacobs. Fighting through his man, getting free and looking for Morgan. Can't quite get him as he tries to climb the ladder and bury that one with the quick stick. And the ball's going to go back to the Lopes with a minute and 3 seconds to go.
And Johnny Morgan was wide open on the crease.
Wide open. He doesn't miss very many of those.
Absolutely not. I mean, and Jacobs to Morgan, that's the connection that they're looking for.
It's money in the bank.
Yep.
Money in the bank. Move the ball across. That one just barely gets there to Mahaney. Mahaney into the box. 44 seconds to go. Move the ball up to Barnes. And Dave Wall's also tuning in. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And loses his footing, and the ball is down. And that's just unlucky. The ball's still down. Finally picked up. And there's Mason. 20 seconds to go in the game. Mason trying to get around the corner, pushed outside. Here's Barton, who'd gotten Cooney hung up. 14 seconds to go. Looking for the pick. Gets around. Moving pick, and that one huge save by Carlson, way out of his cage. And Barry able to run it down. 7 seconds to go in the first overtime period. They got to give it a ride. Barry with the pass down the field. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and they're not going to be able to get the shot off right at the buzzer. Wilkerson all over it anyway, and we are going to a double overtime here in the SLC semifinal live on the Lacrosse Network.
What an unbelievable game. We can't say it enough. This has been one of my favorite games to watch all season long.
It's so exciting because both the teams are so evenly matched tonight that it's really anyone's game, and they've both been relying on their big guns. Barton for GCU and Jacobs for the Gauchos have both been the players who carried their team to where they are now, and they're getting in there and they're getting good looks, and this is as good as it gets.
Absolutely, and some of the lights going off here at UCSB. Looks like people are weren't expecting this one to go.
I feel like that would be the only fitting end to a game like this. Lights go off, and we'll finish it tomorrow. But it's so exciting to watch these teams play, especially they're so different, and that's what makes lacrosse so exciting and fun to watch.
Well, either one of these teams, it's great that in D1 they have an entire day to rest.
Yes.
Tomorrow before the championship game, whoever takes away this W. But if it's UCSB, they're definitely going to need that day.
Absolutely.
They really need that day to rest. CJ Jacobs has to rest his legs. Buca has to rest his legs. I mean, those guys play close to 60 minutes in this ballgame.
Yeah.
And now more.
Yeah, absolutely. And the attack too. You know, I mean, they don't have the luxury that some of these other teams like Chapman have. You know, who can run 5-6 attackmen. And you're running the same attackmen and the same 5 middies all game. It's impressive that they've still got juice in their legs to finish this game up. And I noticed if you watch the wing play, when they push back on the wing, Hamway pushes forward. See if they can get into the fast break here. And the ball down. Hamway doing a great job of winning the faceoff. Haven't done quite as well with the old, and that's going to be a hold going against the Gauchos. Interesting call. Mahaney moves it in, and Mount Barton's got the ball, looking to get a pick. Only 10 seconds gone in the second overtime period, and this is where they want it. Getting him in that ISO. You know, you see Santa Barbara definitely slumping in. They want to make sure that they have the opportunity to get that slide in that too. And there's Barton cutting inside, and you see that immediate slide coming from Barry, and now there's an opening. And oh, wow! What a play! That is unbelievable play, straight over the top. The swim, two-hander swim. That's about as spectacular a stick move from a pole that I've seen, and the timing on that is unbelievable. Huge. That's the play of the game if Santa Barbara goes and scores a goal here.
Absolutely. That's Blake Overholt,
who hasn't played a whole lot today, or at least hasn't had his number called.
Yeah, we called his number on a penalty recently, but that was really it. And what a play. I mean, I haven't seen a move like that ever.
Not since Hamilton Pollard. And there's Jacobs. Looks like he's going to get his hands free. Moves the quick double and back right into that motion offense. Walsh looking to get free, gets Morgan. Morgan back across, finds Bowles. Bowles looking inside, has Samuel. Samuel with the shot, just off the mark. The freshman's eyes got pretty big on that one. But the Gauchos getting good looks. 2.5 minutes to go. Overtime number 2. Gauchos threatening on offense. Walsh back to Buca. Buca to Jacobs. Jacobs looking to get his hands free, moving it back to spin this ball in. Back to Jacobs. Jacobs wants it, takes the shot, scores the goal! And UCSB is going to the championship game. What a finish. Jacobs does it, ends the game. 4 straight goals for Jacobs. Puts the team on his back.
Unbelievable goal from the senior captain, CJ Jacobs. Just rips the corner near side.
And you know, you knew when he got that back and he lined up to take that shot that it was going in the goal. He had it locked in on that near corner. He saw something and he just cranked it and buried it. Both of these teams are unbelievable. I'm disappointed that someone had to lose.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the most exciting lacrosse games I have ever seen.
What a ball game. I mean, I can't say enough about Grand Canyon and the way that they played. I mean, Grand Canyon impressed me so much. It's unfortunate that they don't get to play again in this SLC tournament, but I'd love to see Grand Canyon and UCSB both in Greenville because they both absolutely deserve to be there.
Yeah, I mean, Grand Canyon is, I mean, Jack Coyne said it. There are some high seeds that wouldn't want to see Grand Canyon and would probably get them. I mean, if they come into the tournament, they're looking at like 11 or 12 seed, and they're going to face off with somebody, like a BYU or an Arizona State in the first round. And there isn't anyone that I don't think that these guys can't beat. and that's a fact.
Absolutely. Well, as this game's wrapping up, UCSB takes it 13-12 in double overtime. What do you think we can expect out of that championship game?
If it's anything like the first two games, especially this last one, at overtime, I think that the score in the first matchup between UCSB and Arizona State isn't a fair assessment of both the teams' players. I think that UCSB is going to be the huge disadvantage coming into that game, having played two overtimes and having a smaller squad, and going against a very fast, very well-conditioned Arizona State team. It's going to be a tough matchup for them coming on only 1 day's rest. But I can tell you one thing: I'm excited for it.
Absolutely, and just a reminder, that wraps up our coverage of the SLC playoffs for tonight, but you can be back with us tomorrow at 3 o'clock and 5:30 Pacific time for the D2 semifinal games, and then Sunday at 11 a.m. and 1:30 Pacific time for the championship game. So a lot of playoff action, a lot of good lacrosse to be played this weekend. We're just starting right now.
Absolutely, and like I said, if tomorrow is anything like today was, it's going to be worth your time. Some really high-quality Division II action going on. Special thanks to everybody making it happen back in the studio for the Lacrosse Network. Again, for Samir for joining me here, Ted Bendrick and Ted at TVX Video, always doing a fantastic job covering the game. And to all of you, we wouldn't be able to cover these games if you weren't tuning in. So we're happy we can bring you the games, and happy you're tuning in. And thanks for tuning in and sending us your comments. We always really appreciate what you're saying. Any final thoughts, Samir?
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Big thanks to SLC President Matt Holman. And we're excited to bring you more SLC coverage starting tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in to the SLC Division I semifinals live on the Lacrosse Network. For Samir Chaudhry, I'm Chris Marshall. Stay laxy.